At the height of the Vietnam War, Dr. Martin Luther King proclaimed that the bombs in Vietnam explode at home. They destroy the hopes and possibilities of a decent America. While our society celebrates Dr. King every third Monday of January, can we really say that we have heeded his concerns? Have we really internalized his insights? Have we really actualized his vision for a greater democracy? A democracy that makes good on the noble aspirations of our founders, aspirations that remain open and unrealized, like the blank check Dr. King elsewhere spoke of. I think the answer to these questions are clear. It is not the king that stood up against apartheid and segregation that the state celebrates. It is not the king that stood against war and for positive peace that our state celebrates. The state does not celebrate the king who realized, after segregation was overthrown, that black and white workers were finally free to face, together, as a people, the monster of poverty that the dominant system subjects humble working people to, and who led, on that basis, the multiracial Poor People's Campaign. The king our state celebrates every January is a domesticated caricature of the real one. King would, today, like he was then, be considered the most dangerous man in the country by the institutions of the deep state. He would likely be with us on this platform, leading the charge, cognizant of the fact that to free Palestine, we must free ourselves. To free Palestine and to free America are one and the same struggle. The bombs that land in Gaza land in Detroit. They are made apparent in the rusted ruins of once industrial powerhouse cities that were the basis of decent working class communities, but which now occupy many zombified, soul-crushed humans in its city centers. Humans whose conception of the future is chained to the immediate desire for another hit. In Federalist 10, James Madison responds to the elite of the country, those who were concerned that our formal structures of political democracy would lead to the abolition of their property privileges. How can we be sure that if we give the people the capacity to vote, that they won't overturn a system that keeps us, the owners of all there is, at the top at their expense? Madison's reply was to retort to a favorite principle of the powerful, divide et impera. Divide and conquer, factionalize the propertyless masses as much as possible. Whilst they fight amongst themselves, they'll be unable to realize that it is us who they should be fighting against, much less that it is because of us that they are fighting each other. The ruling elite is cognizant of the necessity to constantly devise ways to keep us, working and humble people, divided. For a very long time, racism was the primary form this took. Today, it is one amongst others. But what has never stopped being true is the need that they have to divide all of us, so that they, the owners of big corporations and investment firms, the BlackRocks, the State Streets, the Vanguards, and many others in their club, sustain themselves in a position of power, parasitically sucking us dry to enrich themselves. These are the people that make a killing out of killing. They are the ones who trade in the annihilation of whole peoples for profit. But today, as our people struggle to make ends meet, as what was secure in our grandparents' generation becomes insecure for us, today, as young Americans, like some of us here, represent the first generation in American history destined to worse living standard than their parents. Today, as our people face poverty, debt, and desperation like never before, a light of hope shines. This light is visible in the 9/10 of the country who look mockingly down on the mainstream media, who they know is there to lie, to dupe us into consenting to the agenda of the ruling elite, like some folks which are here today. They are there to invent a topsy-turvy reality that can manufacture consent. Our people know this now, more than ever before. The light of hope is also visible in the 8/10 of our population who believe that their elected representatives do not actually represent them. More than ever, the American people are noticing that, under the current system, the supposed representatives of the American people are in reality the representatives of the oppressors and exploiters of the American people. They're the representatives of those who send hundreds of billions of our tax dollars to fund genocides and Nazis, who send our brothers and sisters abroad to lose limbs, scar their souls, and sometimes return in caskets, all to murder people whom they have more in common with than the filthy parasites who sent them there and who profited from their misfortune. As Memorial Day approaches, this is something we must bear in mind. Today, the American people are standing up and saying no. You're a part of it in this room. We are tired of living under the tyranny of big corporations, banks, investment firms, and corrupt politicians. We are done serving your profits as if it's God, losing our lifeblood for its accumulation. Another America is not only possible, but it is a historical necessity. An America that realizes the dreams and aspirations of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and of so many of our heroes and brightest. This America is possible because we can, through institutions such as the one launched here today, bring our people together and send chills down the spines of our occupiers. We can get all the various forms dissent has taken in our population and give these coherence, systematicity, unity, and direction. And when we do this, we will win for ourselves, in the end, true sovereignty and an actual form of life that is of, by, and for the people. Thank you.